Hey everyone, Robert here, a Generac factory trained technician with over 20 years of experience. Have you ever walked out to your generator and seen fault code 1300 staring back at you? This is a low oil pressure shutdown, and it's your generator's way of saying, hey, I'm running out of lifeblood here. In this video, we'll break down exactly what fault code 1300 means, walk through some simple troubleshooting steps, and help you figure out when it's time to call in a pro. If you rely on your generator to power your home, you're going to want to fix this fast, so let's dive in. Fault code 1300 means the engine detected oil pressure below 5 psi and shut down to protect itself from damage. The oil pressure switch is mounted near the oil filter and is designed to monitor pressure and send a signal to the controller. When the pressure drops too low, it closes the circuit to ground, cutting off ignition, shutting off the fuel solenoid, and killing the engine. This shutdown prevents major engine damage, but the root cause can vary from something simple like low oil to something more serious like a failing oil pump. So let's start with the most obvious and easiest checks first. The first and most important step, check your oil level. I have no idea why Generac buries this step so deep in their diagnostic manual, but it should always be the first thing you check. Open the hood and pull out the dipstick. If the oil is below the full mark, add the recommended oil type until it reaches full. Do not overfill. Overfilling can cause aeration and worse performance. Once the oil level is correct, try starting the generator. If it runs normally, you're done. But if it still shuts down, let's move on to deeper diagnostics. If your generator still shuts down, we need to check the actual oil pressure. A weak or failing oil pump could be starving the engine of oil, so to properly diagnose this, you'll need an engine oil pressure tester. Remove the oil pressure switch and install a mechanical oil pressure gauge in its place. Start the engine and observe the pressure. Normal oil pressure should be 35 to 40 psi, but if pressure is below 4.5 psi, shut the engine down immediately. You may have a failing oil pump or clogged oil passages or another lubrication system failure that requires professional repair. If the oil pressure is normal, the next thing to test is the oil pressure switch itself. This is what triggers the shutdown when the oil pressure gets too low. So with the engine off, disconnect wire 86 and 0 from the oil pressure switch terminals. Using a digital multimeter, check resistance across the switch. With the engine off, the switch should read continuity or closed. When the engine is running, the switch should read infinity or open. If it doesn't switch states properly, it's bad and it needs to be replaced. The Generac 10 psi oil pressure switch, part number 0L2917D, is around 30 bucks. If the oil pressure switch is working fine, wire 86 could be causing the issue. This wire runs between the controller and the switch and grounds the shutdown circuit when the oil pressure is too low. Disconnect wire 86 at both ends and use your multimeter to check for continuity to ground. If it reads continuity when disconnected, the wire is likely shorted somewhere in the harness. If wire 86 checks out fine but the generator still shuts down, the controller itself may be the problem and we'll need to investigate further. If your oil pressure is good, the switch is good, and wire 86 isn't shorted, the issue could be with the controller itself. If the controller fails to recognize the oil pressure switch state, it may trigger a false shutdown. If you have Wi-Fi connected mobile link monitoring, check firmware updates. False 1300 shutdown alarms were fixed in Evolution 2 controllers running firmware 1.11 or newer. If you're a tech with USB programming access, update firmware 1.22 on Evolution 1 or 1.18 on Evolution 2. If you've run through these tests and still can't find the issue, it's time to call in a professional. Problems like failing oil pumps, blocked oil passages, or faulty controllers require specialized tools and experience. A trained Generac technician can pinpoint the root cause and ensure your generator runs reliably. During routine maintenance, we can also check and perform firmware updates to prevent firmware-related glitches from happening in the future. Professional service isn't just about fixing problems, it's about preventing them in the first place. All right, that's fault code 1300 demystified. Hope this video helped you understand what's going on with your generator and gave you some clear troubleshooting steps. And if you made it this far, thank you. I am committed to bringing you valuable generator troubleshooting and maintenance content every week, and I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with any questions or topic you'd like to have me cover next week, and if you have a generous heart, donate a subscribe. It's free and it'll make us both smile. We're here to keep you powered no matter what. I'll see you in the next video. firmware related glitches with those rascally rabbits.